The Boy in the Well by Nicholas B. Morris. Chapter 1.
A buzzard soared above the trees, his caw, caw, caw reaching my ears down below. I'd never walked this deep in the woods before, and part of me thought I should go back. But a little voice inside urged me to go further, just a little more. Don't you want to see what's over that next hill? So I did. At the top of the hill, the trees spread out. In the middle of a small field stood a tall tree with a well next to it. The well had a rock wall around it. It looked like nobody had used it in a long time. I walked over to it and looked down inside. I picked up a rock, made a wish, and dropped it in. A tiny plink echoed back after a second or two. Hello? I stepped back. The voice came from the well. Hello? Is anyone there? I'm here, I said. Who are you? A boy's voice. It sounded small. My name is Honey. Can you help me get out of here? I don't have anything that will reach. Can you go get someone? I'll try. What's your name? Kyle. My name is Kyle. I wanted to help this boy, but I didn't know how. I'm not supposed to be here, I told him. I'm scared, Kyle. I'm scared too. I've been down here a really long time, he said. His voice sounded funny coming off the walls. How long? I don't know. A long, long time. Please help me. I promise I'll try. Don't worry, I'll come back. I turned around and ran back toward home. I couldn't see the sun anymore, so I tripped over a root and fell down in a mud puddle. My face and all of my clothes got dirty, and my knee hurt, but I got back up and started running. I ran until I couldn't breathe, then walked fast until I could run again. Moths buzzed in the big outside lights by the time I got back to the trailer. Mama's car sat in the driveway. She smoked on the porch while I ran up. Just where the hell you been, young lady? Mama, How in the hell you get so dirty? Don't backtalk me. She grabbed my arm and spanked me hard. Get inside and get cleaned up, you nasty little girl. Were you playing with those boys down the road? What did I tell you about that? I didn't, Mama, I said, trying hard not to cry. What did you do to your knee? Mama, I need to help this boy. I knew it. You're going to grow up to be the trailer park whore. No, Mama, I swear. Don't swear at me. I hated the belt. It left red marks across my bottom, and they stung so bad. When she put it down, she told me to dry it up. I sniffled and tried to stop the tears. Cold Kraft dinner waited on the table. I asked Mama if I could microwave it, and she told me I should have got home on time. She made me wash my plate and go to bed after I ate. The smell of Mama's cigarettes in the living room kept me awake. I couldn't stop thinking about Kyle asking me to bring somebody to rescue him. I knew how he felt. I wanted someone to save me sometimes, too. At school the next day, I slipped the apple that came with lunch into my backpack. I ate the Kraft dinner myself. Caitlin called it armadillo tails, and the school called it mac and cheese, but Mama always called it Kraft dinner. I tried to wrap up some of the chicken nuggets in a napkin, but Miss Devon caught me and told me that starving kids in India would give anything for those. I thought about how I'd needed food plenty of times, and how I didn't have to go to India for it. I tried to tell Miss Devon about Kyle starving down in that well, but she wouldn't let me talk. She kept shaking her head at me and stood there watching while I ate them. I couldn't pay attention in class. The poor boy in the well kept running through my head. He would gladly take my place in school. I thought about Kyle trapped down there, all alone. No one knew but me. I had to find a way to get him out. Honey, what are you looking at? Huh? Outside the window. What's so important? A friend of mine, he's outside? Yes. I don't see anyone. The rest of the class giggled. He's not here. And it looks like you aren't either. If I catch you daydreaming again, I'll send you to the principal's office. Is that clear? Yes, ma'am. As soon as the school bus drove off, I headed for the woods. It took me a bit to remember the way, but I finally got back to the well. Is that you, honey? Yes, I brought you some stuff. I tossed the apple down and heard it splash. I would have brought chicken nuggets, but Miss Devon, she's my teacher. She told me to eat it or I'd get in trouble. Did you tell anyone about me? I tried, but Mama gave me a whooping and sent me to bed. Did you bring anything else? A ladder or rope or something? No, I'll try later, I promise. Please help me, honey. I don't think anyone else even knows I'm down here. I ran through the woods, but not too fast. I wanted to get home before Mama so she could see I knew how to behave, and maybe then she'd listen to me. Maybe she'd help me rescue Kyle. But Mama got home late. She didn't even notice that I'd cleaned the house. She handed me a box from her work and told me to warm up dinner. I made her a plate of fried chicken and tater logs. She didn't touch them. She sat in her chair and smoked until I went to bed. I didn't mention Kyle at all. On Saturday morning, I got up real early. I took some ham out of the fridge and stuffed it in a plastic bag from the grocery store and filled an old grape soda bottle with water. I also found some rope, bright yellow and tangled up in the shed out back. I grabbed it and headed into the woods. Mama wouldn't wake up until almost lunchtime. Kyle, I brought some rope. Can you throw it down? I have to get it untangled. I started unlooping all the knots. Did you bring anyone with you? No, my mama don't like to talk when she gets home from work. Where does she work? She says she works at the shithole. Have you told anyone at school? No, I don't got too many friends. I tossed down one end of the rope. Kyle pulled on it, and it slid through my hands. It burned, like getting a belt whipping on my palms. Can you tie the rope around a tree? I took my end and wrapped it around the big tree trunk 2 times. Then I tied it, like Mama showed me how to tie my shoe. Try it now. Kyle pulled on it some more. The rope got tight going over the side. I heard him grunt. Then the rope snapped and hung loose again. Kyle, are you okay? The rope broke. I can't reach it. Do you have any more? No. Can you try to get some? I'll try. I brought you some food. I dropped the bag down the well. Thank you, honey. I'll come back, I promise. When I got back home, Mama wanted to know what I'd done with the ham and why I'd left the shed door open. I told her I had to help a friend. With what? He fell down a well. I'm trying to help him get out. Girl, don't tell such damn fool lies. Lots of people have used that excuse to get attention. People are going to think you're a liar, and no one will ever believe you again. But he's down there. His name is Kyle. I never heard such nonsense. If a boy fell down a well, everyone in the country would know about it. You're staying here the rest of the day so I can keep an eye on you. I did chores all afternoon, and she made me sit with her and watch a movie that night. Any time I talked about Kyle, she told me to shut up. So I stopped talking, but I couldn't stop thinking about him. He probably wondered when I would show up with help. I hoped he would understand why I couldn't make it. Caitlin's daddy taught Sunday school, and he came by on Sunday mornings to pick me up for church. Mama said I could go as long as I got myself ready and didn't wake her up. So I woke up early and put on my nice dress, then ran out when Caitlin and her daddy pulled up in front of the trailer. In Sunday school, they gave us a cookie and some juice. Miss Stephanie, the Sunday school teacher for our class, told us about how Jesus raised his friend Lazarus from the dead. His family buried him in a tomb, but Jesus told him to get up, and he did. Miss Stephanie, could Jesus get somebody who was alive out of a tomb? Oh, honey, we don't put alive people in tombs. That's silly. After Sunday school, all us kids got up and sang songs in front of the older people. Jesus died for all the children of the world. I wondered if Kyle knew this song. Red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in his sight. Jesus died for all the children of the world. I wanted to help Kyle, so I decided to pray for him, and I'd get Caitlin to pray for him too. During church, I passed Caitlin a note asking if I could stay at her house that afternoon. She showed it to her mom, and her mom nodded. When prayer time came, I got down on my knees and prayed quietly. Who you praying for? My friend Kyle. You don't know him. Can I pray for him too? Please. Caitlin's mama fixed a roast and potatoes. We had green beans and iced tea too. After all that, we ate homemade cookies. She made sure I got plenty to eat, and then Caitlin and I spent the afternoon playing in their backyard. Who are you praying for today? His name's Kyle. He's this boy I know. I was playing in the woods, and I came across this well, and he was down inside it. Really? Yeah. I tried to get him out yesterday with some rope, but it broke. My daddy has a rope you can use. We went into Caitlin's garage. Her daddy's rope looked longer than the one I'd tried to use, but it hurt my hands to hold it. She handed me a flashlight, too, so I could see down in the well. Why don't you come help me? Mom will get upset if I leave the backyard. She's afraid somebody will steal me. But we can help him. Doesn't Jesus want us to help this little boy? I guess. Come on, we won't get in trouble. We climbed over the fence and headed into the woods. These woods are nice, honey. Do you play here a lot? Uh-huh. They're quiet. Most girls would rather play with Barbies. I don't like Barbies. Me neither. When we got to the well, I started yelling at Kyle. I brought somebody. She's got some rope. But he didn't answer. Is he okay? I think so. Give me the flashlight. I shone it down the well. I couldn't see him anywhere. Kyle? You okay? The hairs on my neck prickled. Something felt strange and scary, but I couldn't say what. He's not down there. You think somebody found him? I hope so. The rope I brought yesterday is still on the tree. Maybe somebody found it and got him out. The wind shook the branch above us. Birds flew off in every direction. I'm scared, honey. Let's go home. As we walked back to Caitlin's house, the sun burned our skin, and we sweated through our church clothes. When we got back there, Caitlin's mama grabbed her, crying, "Oh my Lord, sweetie, we thought some pervert had kidnapped you two." We're okay. Honey took me to help a friend. What friend? I told Caitlin's mama about Kyle, but she didn't believe me. She called Mama and told her that I was turning Caitlin into a bad girl, and she better pick me up, and I could just forget about going to church with them anymore. Caitlin said she didn't mean to get me in trouble, but that didn't stop Mama from yelling at me the whole way home. I stared at the trees as they flew past, waiting for the whooping she'd give me when we got inside the trailer. Mama went to bed early that night, but I couldn't fall asleep. I had quit crying from the whooping a long time before, but it still hurt to lay on my back. I couldn't stop thinking about how I tried to help Kyle, really tried, and he had hid from us. I kept praying for him, just like I learned in Sunday school, but after a while I stopped. He had gotten me in trouble because I tried to help him. I didn't want to help him anymore, so I prayed that it would rain on him and make him cold so he could think about how he caused me to get a whooping. A few minutes later, it started raining. I smiled and listened to the plink of raindrops on the roof. Finally, they sang me to sleep.
Thank you for listening to Chapter 1 of The Boy in the Well, written and read by Nicholas B. Morris and produced by me, Jared I. McGee. The author grew up in Arkansas but fell in love with Colorado. His stories and other assorted writings have been published in the Harpoon Review, Cliterature, Connotation Press, Danse Macabre Online, and Nebo. He has published 2 short story collections, the full-length Tapeworm and the chapbook The Boy in the Well, both with now sadly defunct Monkey Puzzle Press. You can buy copies of Tapeworm from him directly on Amazon. He works his dream job as assistant professor of humanities at the Community College of Denver and watches endless reruns of Star Trek with his partner, Alyssa Pacini. Caleb Hicks produced the original audio for the narrative. He and Mr. Morris worked closely together on the spoken album of Mr. Morris's stories called The Boy in the Well. The backing tracks for this story were taken from Muse Open at museopen.org. Muse Open is a 501c3 nonprofit focused on increasing access to music by creating free resources and educational materials. They provide recordings, sheet music, and textbooks to the public for free without copyright restrictions. As they say, their mission is to set music free. The piece heard here is Double Bass Concerto No. 2 in B minor by Giovanni Bottesini. The University of Chicago Orchestra is performing. A sincere thank you to museopen.org and the orchestra for the contribution. This track is being used under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. The rain sound effect comes from freesound.org, another great artistic community based on sharing art to enhance art. Loop-based music is the user responsible for the effect. This track is being used under a Public Domain Dedication 1.0 license. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed this story, and that you will keep your eyes peeled for the remaining 2 chapters of The Boy in the Well in the coming weeks. For now, on to the next short story.